Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Scoreboard Keepers. I am your host, the Ref, where I keep you up to score on everything sports, hip hop, and hot topics. And you already know, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back in 30 seconds.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you to the Scoreboard Keepers. You're around here, we don't keep receipts, we keep the score. So if you want to get on the board, make your point. If it makes sense, we'll add it to the board. If it don't, we won't. Scoreboard Keepers.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Scoreboard Keepers. We got a flag on the play, ladies and gentlemen. We got a flag on the play. So if you guys haven't been living under a rock, breaking news. Minnesota just sued the federal government over immigration raids. Yeah, it's that serious. It is that serious now. It has gotten to the point where they are literally suing. After a woman was shot and fatally killed by ICE agents in Minneapolis. So now the state's attorney general says that this isn't about enforcement anymore. Okay, he's saying it's about control and accountability. So let's put this on the board real quick. Okay. Let us get this board up here. All right. That's what we got to do. We got to make sure that we have that for sure. So that's the only thing that we can do to get the accuracy around here. We don't keep receipts. We keep the score. Okay. So you guys need to know that. And here and boom. So it's very alarming. And to be honest with you, it's a lot going on. So let's just talk about the facts on really what went down. On January 12th, Keith Ellison announced Minnesota is suing the Department of Homeland Security. This is what the scouting report says. He's suing Homeland Security, okay? The lawsuit targets immigration raids carried out by federal agents, including Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. We're talking about ICE, okay? We're talking about ICE. So we got 1 point for Minnesota, okay? They bringing forth the paperwork. They're taking the proper steps, the necessary precautions, to get this thing filed, and I guess to get some type of results. I don't know what type of results they're expecting going against the government right now, and considering who's in office. It's going to take a lot. This comes days after a fatal shooting involving an ICE agent in Minneapolis. Well, I'm pretty sure you guys have. If you haven't seen it, you've heard about it. Okay, so and there's a lot of questions around the actual incident. So you would have to go and take a look at that and then see what's going on here. We happen to have showed it over here, so. If you didn't see it, it's probably because you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. So I recommend that you subscribe right now, like, share, thumb up this video. Okay, if you want to get more of what the ref has to say, this is the ref reaction. You want a little R&R in your life? You need it. This lawsuit doesn't happen in a vacuum. Okay. Ellison's argument is not no immigration law. He's saying it is basically federal agents operating without a clear coordination, raids creating fear, chaos, and risk to civilians. If you've been looking around and seeing what's been going on up there, it has been wild and it has been chaos. But I can't just say that it's all ICE agents either. I've seen some of our civilians out of control as well. They're saying it's alleged lack of transparency, identification, and accountability. So they're saying a lot. States and cities saying you're endangering our residents. So, well, yeah, that's going to happen when you got people running around there with guns. Minnesota is saying enforcement can't come at the cost of public safety. I agree. I mean, I don't think anybody be willing to disagree with that. I just don't think so. I think that protests, okay, and the things that I've seen civilians approaching these ICE agents as if they're regular law enforcement. Okay. And that's not the thing you want to do. These are government agents. Okay. And I'm pretty sure most of them have a green light to, to unalive people if they have to. If they deem it's a threat, I'm pretty sure that they don't want to do it, but if they can do it and get away with it. Clean. And this is why, what they got going on, these orders are coming right from the top. So if you're going against them, you're going against the chief and commander. And I know some of us don't agree with some of his things, but the problem I'm having with this entire situation is these civil rights now are all of a sudden being awakening. They're all of a sudden being awakened now because of this situation that's going on. Where's all this protest when these things are happening in everyday life? Don't y'all know people's rights are being violated every day just walking around the streets of New York, walking around the streets of Chicago? I don't want people pulling this card when they feel it's convenient. You can't if civil rights are being violated, then it's being violated. Don't say just because it's these people that they deserve all of this attention. And then if it happens to a regular Joe walking down the street in New York City and he happens to be thrown in jail, for no reason, and his rights are being violated, I don't see all these people marching outside of those jails. And basically what I'm trying to say is that I don't see people doing this in the Black community. I don't see people doing it. So basically what you're saying is that human being may have deserved it. Listen, the 1960 civil rights movement was huge. And they didn't, particularly my ancestors, didn't fight for civil rights to be used as some wild card that anybody can pull out whenever they get it, whenever they feel like it. For some of these situations, I don't even think that they should be using the civil rights card, because some of these people are not legal residents in the United States of America. So how dare you? How dare you? If you're gonna show this much resilience and you're gonna show this much zeal for civil rights, then let it be for everybody. Don't be selective about it. It's basically what I'm saying. Don't be selective. Okay? Don't be selective about it. If you want to be serious about these civil rights and you really want to push this narrative, then we should see you everywhere. It's like cherry picking right now. You're cherry picking under the basket to get 2 points. You're not playing full court defense. You're cherry picking. And I think that that's wrong. So basically what this comes down to is a woman is dead after encounter involving an ICE agent. The feds say the agent acted lawfully. That's what they're saying. They said that this guy acted lawfully. And guess what? There was cameras rolling. Local leaders and residents say too many questions remain unanswered, and they're not going to answer them. They're not going to answer them. When force is used, especially deadly force, the burden of explanation gets heavier. So they don't feel like they have to answer to the common citizens because they're not your local law enforcement. Some of these things that's going on could be, top secret. I saw one yesterday when they went and got one guy. When they said where they were taking him, they didn't say I was taking him down to the local jail. It was some kind of code, V3 or something like that. Like, we don't even know what that was. It was so, it just had military dialect all over it. That was military talk. And they just, they saying this ain't just immigration. This is federal power versus state authority. Law enforcement versus civil liberties. Safety versus fear-based enforcement. Y'all agree with that? If people are afraid to go to work, school, or call police, public safety breaks down. That's been going on forever. That's been going on forever. Like I said, this is being selective now. You got picks. The only time they want to bring this up and use this now is for somebody else. And when I say somebody else, I mean for another culture or another race that didn't march in the 1960s for these civil rights. So if you got to use them, you got to use them correctly. Listen, how dare you bring up civil rights on this level for people that are not citizens of this country versus the individuals whose ancestors died for civil rights. This gets me kind of upset. I'm not going to lie to you. It gets me kind of upset because these people have a nerve. These people have a nerve. Some of these people don't even qualify for these civil rights. They qualify for due process, but they don't even qualify for these civil rights. And you're pulling out a card that some of these people don't even respect. Some of these people don't even respect. I mean, that takes a lot of gall. And I'm pretty sure people don't even it's funny how people are talking about these civil rights and everything, but now nobody's mentioning the people that marched for it. What? I don't understand. I'm truly confused. The DHS says they're enforcing the law. Okay, that's what DHS was, and they say they're enforcing the law. ICE says agents acted in self-defense. DOJ has so far not pursued a civil rights case. Okay? So listen. If they're saying that they're acting within the law, and guess what? I've seen them now. They have their own camera people with them. They now have cameras. I'm talking about not on their vests. I'm talking about big time cameras with the lenses and everything. Recording. These people are not playing around. Very professional. I'm talking about the arrest and everybody around them. So guess what that means? You're on camera. Because I don't think that individual I saw yesterday was just recording. He was snapping photos. So you better be careful. Like, if you're out there just because you're being emotional and you don't really know what's going on, then maybe you shouldn't be out there. But pulling this civil rights card for people that it doesn't pertain to, when all of these things have been happening all of these years right here in this country, and you decide to go use it right now, how dare you? How dare you? The gap between federal explanations and community trust is where tension lives. You're damn right. You're damn right that's where it is. You're damn right. But should the states be able to block or limit federal raids? Do immigration agents need more oversight and local coordination? If this wasn't ICE, if it was local police, would the response be different? At what point does the enforcement become destabilization? I'm just asking. I mean, do you believe in enforcing the immigration law? and still demand for accountability when force is used? They saying that this lawsuit don't say no, it's not saying no to law. Then what is it really saying? They saying it's saying not like this. Well, what is it supposed to look like? I didn't know there was a way it was supposed to look. Now, and they say now that the courts will decide how far federal power goes. Well, they're going to find out, because I believe it has a long reach, and it's going to tell you how much say the states really have when these kind of lives are lost. But let me just tell you this again. I don't think that these people should be pulling out the civil rights card for individuals that it does not pertain to. I'm going to take that personal, because my ancestors are the ones that fought and died for that, for those individuals to be here. And there's racism all over the place right now. And I don't even understand. I don't even think these people even took the time to even look into civil rights. I don't even think they've ever done. I don't even think they respect it on that level. So if they have been over here and they haven't taken the time to look into something like that, why should they deserve it? I'm not saying that there's not people here coming here and trying to do the right thing. It's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, if there's some illegal people here and they're not doing the right thing, would I be able to do that if I went to that country? Would I be able to do that in Russia? Would I be able to do that in UK? Would I be able to do that in France? No, of course not. So why would I expect anything different here just because it's here? Let's see what this lawsuit's about.
You good? You good? Let me welcome all the ladies and gentlemen of the press. Thank you all for being here today. My name is Keith Ellison. I'm the Attorney General for the state of Minnesota, and I'm so honored to be joined and in partnership with the city of Minneapolis under the leadership of my friend Jacob Fry, and the city of St. Paul under the leadership of Mayor Herr, who is also a dear friend of many years. We've come together, and we're here to announce a lawsuit we're filing against the United States Department of Homeland Security to end the unlawful, unprecedented surge of the federal law enforcement agents into Minnesota. Because this has to stop. It just has to stop. We allege that the obvious targeting of Minnesota for our diversity, for our democracy, and our differences of opinion with the federal government is a violation of the Constitution and of federal law.
Okay, I heard you. Now my question is, where's the money at that they're allegedly saying is missing? We understand that you have a problem with the way they're behaving there. We understand that. But can you be transparent with us about this money? Because nationally, it's going to come out of the taxpayers' pocket to have to reimburse the government that money, because they're going to get their money one way or the other. No money leaves the United States of America without them being compensated or without it being accounted for. So I need to know about that. We've heard all the scolding. We know that people don't agree with their behavior. But where's that money? That's what caused all of this. Or those people wouldn't even be there. They're even acting like somebody owes them money. You never had somebody looking for you because you owe them money? Well, that's the way they're behaving.
We allege that the surge, reckless impact on our schools, on our local law enforcement is a violation of the 10th Amendment and the sovereign laws and powers of the Constitution grants to states. We allege that DHS's use of excessive and lethal force, their warrantless, racist arrests, their targeting of our courts, our churches, houses of worship, and schools are a violation of the Administrative Procedures Act on arbitrary and capricious federal actions. And we ask that the courts will end the surge of thousands of DHS agents into Minnesota. We asked the courts to end the DHS unlawful behavior in our state, the intimidation, the threats, the violence. We asked the courts to end the tactics on our places of worship, our schools, our courts, our marketplaces, our hospitals, and even funeral homes. The deployment of thousands of armed, masked DHS agents to Minnesota has done our state serious harm. This is, in essence, a federal invasion of the Twin Cities and Minnesota, and it must stop. DHS agents have sown chaos and terror across the metropolitan area and in cities across the state of Minnesota. Schools have gone onto lockdown. Entire districts have had to cancel school for tens of thousands of students to ensure safety and offer online education because of the students and the parents' fear of coming into the school. Local businesses are struggling. Revenues are down. And some retail stores, daycares, and restaurants have actually closed because people are afraid to go out and to do their shopping, whether they're immigrants or whether they are citizens of many generations. This surge has made us less safe. Thousands of poorly trained, aggressive, and armed agents of the state, of the federal government have rolled into our communities, overwhelmed our local police departments, and law enforcement agencies should be focused on our public safety, but instead, many are dealing with the aftermath of DHS agents' chaos and violence. I want to thank our law enforcement officers for doing a tremendous job under very difficult circumstances. Not the people, but the federal government. Minneapolis police have had to respond to more than 20 ICE-related incidents, like witnesses seeking people being pulled into unmarked vehicles by men in masks, or ICE abandoning vehicles on the street with people detained inside. This is an unlawful commandeering of police resources. In just 2 days, responding to the chaos ICE has cost the city $2 billion in law enforcement and overtime expenses. 2 days. And I wish I could stop there, but I can't, because these poorly trained, aggressive, and armed agents of the federal state have terrorized Minnesota with widespread unlawful conduct. They're making unconstitutional arrests and using excessive force. DHS agents have barged into restaurants asking to access secure areas. And when asked to present a warrant, which is required by law, they respond, "We don't need one." DHS agents have arrested peaceful bystanders. They have fired chemical irritants at people obeying lawful orders while exercising their First Amendment rights. They have even done so at some of our most sensitive places, like Roosevelt High School here in Minneapolis. They have detained law-abiding citizens, leaving them handcuffed for hours just because of the color of their skin or what they're wearing, or they speak English with an accent. And on January 7th, 2026, a DHS agent shot and killed Renee Nicole Good, leaving her children without a mother and her 6-year-old son without either parent.
EVE Online is a vast universe.
This has to stop. So let's be clear. It never should have started. These agents have no good reason to be here. Minnesota's non-citizen immigrant population is just 1.5%, which is half the national average. Our state's percentage is lower than Utah, Texas, and Florida's, but none of those states have thousands of federal agents swarming their streets or harming their people. The administration says that they're focused on finding criminals. Worst of the worst, they say. But many of the people the DHS is arresting in Minnesota have no criminal history. That fits a pattern.
Well, listen, some of them, some of those other places don't have money missing. And some of these other people that don't have a criminal history is because they don't have any history here at all. That's why they're there. So we're not going to sit up here and play games. They're there for people that's not supposed to be here. Now, are you gonna Throw out the baby with the bathwater? Of course not. But I can't say that if you throw a net out in the water to gather up a certain kind of fish, that you're not going to catch a turtle in there, or eel, or a crab. Sometimes the crabs come in with the fish. So we're not going to act like they're going to do some. Why are you holding them to a level where they have to be perfect? Why are you holding them to that standard? That they have to be perfect. Again, this is where I have a problem. Because look, this has been going on for years in other communities, probably right there in that city with George Floyd. Where was all these civil rights talks with that? Where was all of that at? With, where was it? See, the only reason this is a big humbug is because it's money involved. And lots of it. Everybody up there is making some good money up there. I bet you everybody in this photo right now, everybody here is making six figures. Everybody here is making six figures. And now it's a problem because everybody's job is probably on the line. Everybody's job is probably on the line up there. But when it came to the situation with George Floyd, it was just, water under the bridge. Maybe a little statue or something, and then just let it go. I mean, if you wanted to be the one to go out there on Front Street and pull up civil rights, and for somebody who's had ancestors that fought for his civil rights, that was the time for you to be carrying that flag. But no, you wait until it becomes an immigration issue. And now everybody's out there on Front Street, and I haven't seen or heard one person recognize the people that fought for these civil rights in the United States of America. Shame on y'all. All these people out here protesting. It's unbelievable. Now they want to use civil rights as a reason to go out here and protest. Now you want to put your car in the middle of the street and block people and talk about civil rights? This is not, listen, this would be more credible if you were always doing, if you were more consistent. People's civil rights are being violated every day across this country, sometimes by local law enforcement. And now all of a sudden, here you go standing up here now because there's billions of dollars missing, and now y'all got Trump on your heels. Somebody from Atlantic City that knows a little bit about money, right? Oh, yeah, he's coming for that money. If some money's missing out of the kitty, listen, he's going to know about it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You're talking about somebody that was dealing in casinos. You think he ain't going to know a little bit of money's missing from somewhere? Oh, yeah, yeah. You guys got your hands full up there. And not only that, now you choose this time to talk about civil rights, and nobody's speaking about the people of the 1960s civil rights movement and what they fought for. Nobody's educating these immigrants on how that happened. No wonder they don't respect us. There was a young man that went out there and was trying to show support for them, and they called him the N-word. So I say to hell with that. They got to fight their own. They got to fight their own battles. You can't disrespect us and then expect to eat off our backs, our blood, sweat, and tears, and death. Are you kidding me? These people got to get it together. We need to put more African American studies back into our curriculum. I don't care what nobody says. When these people and these immigrants come here, they need to know exactly who we are, how we got here, why we're here, what we did while we were here. Because obviously and apparently they have no clue. Because now you're talking about civil rights just like it was just like I got civil rights. Well, how'd you get it?
In 2025, 93% of the people arrested by ICE had no violent criminal history. 65% had no criminal convictions at all, and randomly stopping people in the street because their skin color isn't the one that they expect or want isn't doing a thing to help public safety.
Well, that sounds very familiar. That sounds something like racial profiling. How about that? It sounds familiar, my guy. Listen, I don't want to sound cold, but this is like a slap in the face. This is just total disrespect as far as I'm concerned. You're talking about racial profile. Do you know how many racial profiling cases it is in this country? You couldn't even look in the camera with a straight face and say that, because you know now that you're taking the 1960s civil rights movement and applying it to some people that may be here illegally. And I'm not going to allow you to do that. Flag on the play. Flag on the play. These people, some of these people that's here illegally, they do not deserve to be here off of the backs of people that have died, hosed, bit by dogs. They don't deserve to have that liberty. I'm sorry. You can say what you want to say. These people they got to do exactly what we did. They got to do exactly what we did. Don't insult us. Don't insult our intelligence, but have enough class and have enough respect to do it the right way. Go ask somebody. Go ask some clergy about the 1960 civil rights movement. Go do that. Don't insult us. Don't call us slurs. They have no clue about what went on here. And you using that as a reason to protect illegal people, it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. That's what it is. It's a disgrace. Because I don't think now that you should be going and trying to slip behind our backs and pull out the civil rights card when you're not even using it for us. Yes, I said us. I've personally had my rights violated. I didn't take nobody to court because you know what? It's like turning the water on downstairs. That sometimes people don't do their jobs and cover it up. All of a sudden, we're going to act like this is some big surprise now because it's happening in Minnesota over some people that's not supposed to be here, and there's $19 billion missing. I don't care if it's $1 billion missing. That's too much. So you can miss me with all of this. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not even going to play the rest of this, okay? I'm not even going to play the rest of this. I don't think that this lawsuit is going to go anywhere. You guys can leave some comments down below if you think this is going to go somewhere. We don't believe that it is. Okay, and I'm going to put up some points for the ICE agents. 10 points. All because you're trying to use civil rights as a reason and pulling a card that belongs to my ancestors, right? And who you never use it for. You never even use it for our own people. So why would I allow you to come and grab our card and try to use it for immigrants that are not even supposed to be here? I don't think so. I don't think so. Ladies and gentlemen, leave your comments down below on what you think about this situation. Am I wrong? If I am, tell me down below, because I'm going to get right in them comments. Let me know. Do you think the ICE agents are wrong? Do you think this guy is wrong? Let me know. Ladies and gentlemen, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thumb up the video. I am your host, The Ref. Until the next episode of the Scoreboard Keepers, God bless. Score. Shame on you trying to use the civil rights card. And you don't even use it for the people that died for it.